Yeah, I just went walking up.
It's all going to, I don't know.
You know, we go
Yeah, look at him, see if he was looking for a meeting.
Yo! Yo! Are you coming to the meeting?
Hello? All right.
You cut up. Oh, I don't know, we look at the sky or something. Don't worry, I'm arming. That's some shit.
All right. Okay, and now Deborah's here. Deb, you there? Deb, can you hear me?
Yep.
All right, great. Thanks for joining. Can you see me?
Yep.
All right,
Got
that's good information. I'm trying something new here. I am, this is a Zoom meeting. I'm doing a Zoom meeting and I'm streaming it to YouTube. And I haven't done this before, so bear with me. At the same time, I'm going to pop over to Facebook and I'm going to start a live video there.
Can't do it. So.
Trying to figure that out.
But if he's trying to do both, he probably has two computer screens and then just bases them, tries to base through all.
Well, hello. Hello. Hello, hello, hello. All right, folks, you got some folks joining in. Guys, give me a minute here. Yeah, here we go. Live.
Pretty bad in this whole town. I'm gonna put my no. Okay.
I'm trying to figure out. I'm trying to go live. It's showing me live video. All right, you got 4 folk here in person, guys. There's I got some chips and water over here, some cookies.
That free.
I didn't bring any ice cream. Yeah, just make some snow cream. Officer Harris just joined us from our neighborhood policing unit. And I'm fiddling around here trying to start a live on Facebook. I've never done it from a laptop before. Live event. Is anyone out there who can walk me through starting a live on Facebook from a laptop or on a computer? Oh, I'm sorry. I got it. Here we go. Go live.
Let's say you should.
Yeah, I got it.
You got it?
Yeah, I got it. So this is technical guy always has technical problems. Hello. All right, there we go. And it should be go live. Go live. Go live. Live video starting. All right. All right, now I'm live. We're live on Facebook and live on Zoom, streaming to the YouTube channel that I recently created. So I want to thank everyone for joining. We have we got 5 folk here. I really didn't expect anyone to show up here in person. So thanks for coming out, guys, and braving the weather. Hopefully next time we do one in April, we'll have better weather, and then in July maybe we can do one out in the park again. For folks on Facebook, thanks for joining again. I think we've got 2 folk so far. We've got Deborah and Bev out there on Zoom. surprised. I hope to have more people, obviously. So this, I don't think it's gonna be a very long meeting, but again, I do these meetings once a quarter, and this is my report to our neighbors about what's going on in the sixth ward in particular, and some stuff that's going on in Waukegan. And I give you a lot of statistics. So I'm gonna start with statistics on, revenue that we've received, the city has received for last year, right? So in 2023, and the period from March to December of 2023 regards to casino, the gross receipts from the Full House Resorts Casino was $73,105,574.99. Of that, Waukegan received $2,558,695.12 as far as our share from gambling revenue, if you will. And then the admissions, we get $1 a head every time somebody walks in the casino. Our piece, the city received $611,121. Just people going in there. So that's 611,000 people that went into the casino. And then here's an interesting tidbit. For fiscal year 23, we received $607,142.86 in lease payments because they're leasing the land that they're building on. And then fiscal year 24, it's expected that we will receive another $2 million. So in those 2 years, that's going to total out to $2,607,142.86. And then the gambling revenue and admissions, that totals out to $3,169,816.12. And that doesn't, I don't have the numbers for any sales taxes, for food, beverages, and that kind of thing that we receive from the casino as well. And then we now have 2 cannabis dispensaries, marijuana dispensaries. So these numbers are not for the entire year, but from March last year through November of last year, the city received a total of $196,737.44. There will be some revenue collected for the month of December, but I don't have those numbers yet. And when I get them, if I think of it, I will be sure to share that with you. Okay. So that's the revenue portion that I want to share. A lot of folks have interest in it. I think we all should, because that money is used to offset our property taxes, particularly with regards to the police and fire pensions. The monies from the video gaming terminal is split 50-50 for police and fire pensions. And I asked for those numbers, but I didn't receive. I think they just overlooked it. But if I get those numbers, I will share them on Facebook as well. All right. Okay. Here's what's going on or has gone on in the 6th ward and what's planned. So the first thing I want to talk about is street resurfacing and lead pipe remediation. These are 2 different programs, right? So the federal government, state government mandated that all lead pipes, the lead water pipes that feed fresh water from the water main into your home, if they were lead, that have to be replaced. So we started that program last year. We did accomplish a significant number of lead pipe replacements, particularly in the 6th ward. I think we probably hit about 90%. There's still some stragglers out there because for whatever reason, the residents didn't get the word, and like a lot of people wouldn't answer the door, they wouldn't respond to notes, they didn't want to talk to you if they did, so there are some that remain to be done. Along with the lead pipe replacement, All right. I'm sorry, folks. Just had some folks join. Melody, Maddox, Vicky McKinney. Hey, Vicky. Hey, Melody. And Castle Keith. There's Joanne Sabanji, my old friend. Alderman Dunn. So folks who just joined, I'm just starting to talk about our lead pipe replacement and street resurfacing programs for last year and what's coming this year. So again, lead pipe replacement was mandated by the federal and state governments, unfunded mandate. And so we did a number of those in the 6th ward, and of course we couldn't resurface and didn't want to try to resurface until we did lead pipe first. So we did have a list for street resurfacing in the 6th ward. I had 5 streets out there, and that has changed, sadly, right? So I'll tell you what was planned, and then I'll tell you what is going to be as of today. So Ash Street from Grand to Ridgeland is going to be resurfaced. Franklin Street from Jackson to Sheridan Road, whole street is going to be resurfaced. North Avenue from Julian up to Glen Flora, and Ridgeland Avenue from Jackson. It was scheduled Jackson to County, but I think it's only going to go to North Avenue. I'm trying to push it to get it done all the way to County, but they changed it, and we're only going to go to North. And then Sheridan Road from Grand to Glen Flora. Those are all the streets planned in the 6th ward. But what we're going to get is the first 3. Ash Street, Franklin Street, and Ridgeland are committed. We will definitely get those done, scheduled for the spring of this year. All right. Traffic and parking enforcement. If you don't know, parking enforcement, we have a what do you call it? Parking enforcement unit. They're work underneath the police department. They're out there every day.
Join the meeting.
And in the 6th ward, they are searching, looking for people who are not following the alternate parking ordinances, alternate parking. They're looking for abandoned vehicles, stolen vehicles, anything to do with traffic and parking, right? So it's some parking enforcement officers, and they're very effective. I should pull the numbers. You guys have any idea what the numbers would be for parking enforcement tickets? Nothing. Okay. So not only do we have the parking enforcement, then we have patrol division that's out there. If you have issues on your street, you know, maybe there is a car that hasn't moved in several weeks, or people are speeding or something like that. Any traffic related issues, you can bring those directly to the attention of our neighborhood policing officer, Mr. Officer Chris Harris, who's out and about in 6th ward every day and sometimes at night. So, or you can always, you know, goes without saying, they bring it to my attention. We can do what's called targeted enforcement. Chris or Sergeant Villalobos is also here with us. If we take it to them, they'll flip it over to a patrol division, and we can get some targeted enforcement for things like overnight parking, etc. Yes. And again, the alternate parking is you park on the even side of the street on even days, and odd side of the street on odd days. The alternate parking is enforced from midnight to noon every day. Neighborhood Watch, if you're interested in Neighborhood Watch, and Chris, we do have someone else who's interested over on Ash Street, the 800 block. So Officer Chris Harris, Officer and Sergeant Villalobos, they are the neighborhood police unit, and that Neighborhood Watch falls under their purview. So if you want to be interested in doing a neighborhood watch, and I really would like to see more neighborhood watches established, and these groups meet just, you know, once a quarter, just your neighbors on the block, maybe the block over, and it's a way to connect with your neighbors, to understand what's going on and share information and encourage one another. happy news for me. Some folk don't like it, but the wall over at the school district there, excuse me, Lincoln Center on Sheridan Road has finally come down. Actually looks pretty good. The plan is that they're gonna put up a decorative fence, but I talked to some of the senior leadership at the school district recently, and they said, hey, it looks pretty good the way it is, so maybe we gotta rethink putting up a fence. I think they're gonna wait until spring when the snow melts and make a decision then. Ted, thanks for joining. Again, if you're interested in Neighborhood Watch, call me. You can contact me or you can contact Officer Harris, and correct me if I'm wrong, Chris. 847-596-5470.
Sounds great.
Okay. So Chris Harris, again, our neighborhood policing officer, you can call him directly. And we just did a meeting the last Wednesday. It was pretty good. So, all right. Carnegie Museum. This is a project betwixt the Waukegan Park District and the Waukegan Historical Society. The groundbreaking ceremony for the renovation of that museum was held on October 22nd, or held October 18th of 2022, and they anticipate to open the museum this fall. So if you want information on that, please contact the Park District or the Historical Society. College of Lake County had their expansion, opened up their expanded building, and that opened last January. There's a free meeting space available to you on the 5th floor. Contact College of Lake County Lakeshore, Dean Ruiz, and they'll set you up if you want to use the space for whatever meetings. And they're also planning a community garden to be built. I think it's going to open this year, or construction will start this year. It's going to include a couple of greenhouses and a vegetable market, so we can get fresh vegetables right there at the college. And not certain what that construction schedule is. Gave you the stats on the casino on revenues, but I do want to reiterate if the temporary casino is there now. The original, or the main casino or primary casino is in the design phase, and is targeted to open no later than 2028. Initially, it was going to open no later than 2025. They were given an extension if needed, due to legislation, or a lawsuit filed by the Potawatomi group up in Wisconsin. The casino is now hiring. Excuse me, I've sent several people over here. I know one young lady went over here today for an interview. They're interviewing on-site, walk-in interviews. You don't have to wait, file an application, and then wait to be contacted. They're going to interview you right on the spot. They really need people. They need help. So. And the website for them is AmericanPlace.com. Okay, let's talk about the 6th Ward. Here are some departmental stats. Here are some of the departmental stats for the 6th Ward. These are for Public Works, the building and code compliance, the police, and the fire departments. So in Public Works, there were, and this is again for all of last year, January to December of 23, there were 225 requests by either me or residents in the ward. Hey, I got a pothole, there's a light out, the sign is broken, can you put up some stop signs or whatever it is? Citizen requests, 225, and they were all completed. And then there were 320 tasks that were defined by either city engineer or director or foreman of various teams who identified issues that need to be resolved in the ward. So there's 320 tasks, 225 requests, and a total of 545 completions. I don't think they captured everything, because seems like to me I might have called them 500 plus. You know? All right, so building and code compliance. There was 718 Notices of violation, that's the NOV, that's the note that you get on your door, says, hey, your grass is too tall, you need to cut it, or, you didn't bring your garbage can in, those kinds of things. You get a notice of violation. It's not a ticket, it's not a fine, it's just a note that you need to resolve something. They usually give you some specified time when you need to get it resolved. If you don't, then they will give you a citation. Citation requires you to show up for a hearing in the city hall, and I think they're held twice a month on a Wednesday. And that's where you get your fine. Okay, so there's 718 notice of violations or citations issued, 73 licenses were issued, 250 permits. Licenses pertain to businesses opening or operating a business. You get a license. A permit is when you're doing work on a site, roof repair, driveway repair. I saw a lot of driveways being done, a lot of roofs being done this year or last year. So we had 250 permits. We had 18 closing letters, which is an inspection by the city that confirms that your house meets certain standards before you can sell it. And that was a total of 1,059 inspections. That's a lot of work for the building and code department just in the 6th ward. In the fire department, I'm always amazed by their numbers because I don't see a lot of fire department effort in our ward, but maybe they're working when I'm asleep. So they had 963 emergency medical service calls in the 6th ward. That's a lot of people getting sick. 18 structure fires. There were 439 others. Yeah, I got to verify these numbers. These seem really high, but this is what the chief gave me. 439 other fire, he says incidents, but I would say fire department activities that would include fire alarms, hazardous conditions, various service calls, and good intentions. They show up for block parties and those kind of things. Fire Protection Bureau did 291 inspections. The total for the fire department, 1,420 fire department activities in the 6th ward last year. And then here's the big one for our police department. Excuse me. Folks, I'm going to take questions, but I want to get through these numbers before we kind of get into any discussion. So in the police department, there were 410 total calls in the 6th ward. And before I run through those numbers, I want to let you know that citywide, not just the 6th ward, but citywide, there were 249 guns that were confiscated, which is down a bit from 277 that was reported or confiscated in 2022. And there was also a total of 116 guns that were purchased from private owners. We call it a gun buyback. So, all right, here's what happened in the 6th ward crime-wise. 0 arsons, 7 batteries, 9 residential burglaries, 7 vehicle burglaries, 1 fireworks, 2 graffiti complaints, 39 noise complaints. Let me stop and go back and talk about graffiti. Recently, you may have heard or seen my post on Facebook. Maybe you were following city council meeting. And there was a new policy initiated where public works would no longer come out and cover up graffiti or remove graffiti. Excuse me. They would, the graffiti would have to be reported to the building department. They would issue a notice of violation, give you 7 days to remove it. If the city came out and removed it, they would charge you a fee for the labor. And I objected strenuously to that. And I was able to get an ordinance passed. Mike, did we do an ordinance or was that a resolution? I forget which.
I think it's going to be an ordinance.
I think so. So we got an ordinance that Public Works will in fact continue to remove graffiti from private property. That's business or residence, doesn't matter. It's private property. They'll do it. They'll come out and remove it or paint over it. at no cost to the property owner, resident or tenants or anything like that. So city will pick it up. And that's something that's been going on forever. I don't know why the new policy was initiated to change, but we got it back like it was. So if you have graffiti, I got a call regards gang graffiti on the garage at 1100 block of North Avenue today. Sent it over to Public Works, and as soon as their weather permits and they got time, they will paint over it. Right? Okay. Noise complaints 39, subjects gathering 0, disorderly conduct 5, drug complaints 0, 1 overdose, 15 fights, 1 fight with weapons, 99 domestic disputes, 3 juvenile abuse, 3 juvenile custody disputes, 16 juveniles missing or run away, 37 assist other agencies. That would be if the sheriff's serving a warrant, deputies are serving a warrant, or maybe another police agency in Zion knows that somebody else is coming down here and they're serving a warrant or they're chasing somebody, and they obviously let our officers know and they assist the other agency. They had 1 armed robbery, 2 sexual assaults, 19 suspicious persons, 14 thefts, 25 traffic accidents, 11 traffic accidents with injuries, and 19 traffic accidents hit and run. Man, and unfortunately, someone was just hit three days ago. It's in the 7th Ward up by Miraflores on Sheridan Road. Pedestrian walking in the street and played tag with an SUV. It's a pet peeve of mine, and for a lot of folks, people walking in the street. But you kind of understand it with the snow and sidewalks being blocked. But if you're driving, pay attention and give pedestrians a little extra room. Intoxicated drivers, 1 in the 6th Ward. Other traffic complaints, 7. And 16 parking complaints, 19 stolen vehicles, 28 shots fired calls, and 3 subjects with a gun. But again, that was a total of 410 calls for the police department in 6th Ward. All right, I just want to remind you a couple of things. Regards to police officers, policing is reactive and they only can respond to, they're not prescient, they don't know what's going to happen. So it's prevalent on us to pay attention to what's going on in our neighborhood, contact the police directly, non-emergency things that you just think they should look at, the car that hasn't moved, a suspicious person, those kinds of things. Obviously 911 for emergency critical issues that you see, get the police involved. And even if it's something that you don't think the police are going to get in the time to really do anything, like documents, because they do data analysis, heat maps, and check patterns, right? And you may add some key piece of information that may assist in an investigation. So don't hesitate to call the police. And then after you call the police, call me, because I'm nosy and I just like to know what's going on in the ward. Right? All right, so we have some more folks join us on the Zoom meeting. I want to say hello to everyone. Thank you all for joining in. We have 7 folk here in the meeting spot up here at 923 Greenwood. I want to thank Hugo Rodriguez, who made the space available while he's out of town. And going forward, we'll be doing these meetings in different locations. Here, I've got commitments from 2 restaurants in the ward. And also, I think I will expand these meetings to speak more about things that are going on citywide, right? Okay, with that, if there are any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer if I can, or find an answer and get back to you later. Abraham.
Do you know where that armed robbery happened?
No, all I've got is statistics. These aren't reports, right? So I just asked for hey, what happened in the war? They gave me statistics.
Okay.
You know, and I was getting those significant incident reports and we publishing those twice a day. And I thought that was really important. And a lot of people agreed with me because we could see what was happening in our neighborhood, right? You know, and now they are issuing the police blotter. That's a little different. The blotter comes out twice a month, every 2 weeks, and it simply states who was arrested and what they were arrested for in the past 2 weeks, right? So that may be of some interest, but I don't think it's really much value. As an example, we have these states of car burglaries, right? There was like a 5 week period right here in my neighborhood, and they were hitting cars. They hit six in my block in a row, including my truck and my wife's car came in our yards, in the garage. That's that kind of stuff, information that people need to know what's going on in the neighborhood near real time, right? So there's a policy decision to no longer release that information to us. I'm working on that and maybe some other information. I believe in being transparent and informative, as you know. So.
One route to get the information would be a FOIA.
Well, I put in FOIA requests every Sunday or Monday, or Saturday, somewhere on the weekend, Saturday, Sunday, or Monday. I put in a FOIA request for the preceding week. But then because it's a FOIA request, it has to go through the FOIA process, and then the lawyer gets it, and they go in there and they redact the same stuff that I was redacting. And they send it to me, a week or 2 weeks later, right? But the way they send it to me is not conducive to publishing on Facebook. It looks hokey, so I'm struggling with it as I try to manage everything else that I do with my time. So we'll get there. One thing I may request, is the call runs. And the call runs just says, here's all the calls that the officers responded to. Right, and that's a little more detail. It's not going to be not like the significant incidents, but it'll give us a little better insight into what's happening in our neighborhood. I'll continue to break that out by ward, the police calling zones.
And on the graffiti, what is the cost to the city to provide that service to the resident or to the business owner? I mean, is it hundreds? Is it thousands? I mean, are they using material? They're not using material?
Well, I would think the cost is minimal, Abraham. I don't know what the exact cost is, but you'd have to account for labor. Usually it's in one guy. Maybe it's a big splash over a whole huge wall and they got two guys out there. But usually it's one guy goes out there with some paint. They're not color matching, right? You got a brown garage, they're not gonna you got a yellow garage, you're not gonna go find yellow paint and try to match it, right? They're just gonna come out there and splash some white paint or some brown paint on it. And I think that's the two colors they use, white or brown. So the material cost is gonna be minimal. I mean, they're not doing that much of the graffiti cover-ups, right? But you'd have to account for the labor. And I don't know what those guys make. Maybe they send a new guy in that's making 25 an hour. Maybe they send the older guy that's making 48 an hour. Hard to tell, right?
Would you agree to meet somewhere in the middle? If the city doesn't want to do it and we want to have to do it, maybe charge like a minimal fee?
Nope.
Okay.
I'm not, no. And the reason for that is the obvious is the beautification, right? We want the city to look nice, okay? What's not so obvious or apparent to the average Joe is that it's primarily gangs that are putting graffiti out. So if they put graffiti over there on your house and you say, hey, they put the graffiti on my house, and the city says, yeah, okay, we'll get to it, right? And it's going to cost you. And you say, well, I don't know, man, I got something else coming up, and okay, we can wait. So we don't want to prolong the process. Okay. We want to get it done right now. And the way it works is if I call in, you call in, whatever, it should end up with the Community Crimes Division. They'll take pictures. Now, when I do it, I go and take my own picture, save them a trip. They don't have to come out there just to take a picture, right? Or I'll ask you, send me a picture, I send it. And then we give that over to Public Works. They get it on it almost immediately. The reason the community crimes want it, they maintain a database and they're doing analysis and tracking, and they want to figure out who's active and what's going on. Intelligence gap, we call it, right? And then the other thing is we don't want the graffiti to grow. So if you don't cover it up, then the next guy, another gang is going to come by there, and they're going to be tagging all over the place. The other is, and that's the gang, right? And then you have these taggers who are kind of like street artists, right? You're just tagging. We don't want that either, because while it may look nice to some, it's graffiti, right? And we pay good money to live in nice homes and nice neighborhoods. We want to keep it that way. So I am all in favor of immediate remediation of any graffiti that we find, be that on public or private property. And I don't think it's a significant enough cost to, it's not going to impact our budget. Okay. All right, folks, that was a few questions from Abraham. What's the last name again?
Smith.
No, it ain't Smith. It's Ayala. Avalos. All right, anybody out on Facebook, Facebook or YouTube? Okay. Uh-oh. Got some technical issues. Ted, Ron, and Ray said they can barely hear me. I'm sorry, guys. Try to speak a little louder and more directly into the microphone here. If you guys have any questions on Facebook now, send them in. Or you could actually, hate to say it, but you could probably send me a text if you like. But just put your question in the comments. Same thing for folks out there on Zoom. Everybody's muted. If anyone has a question, Ms. Maddox, Bev, I know you have something. Castle Keith, thanks, Cash, for hosting that. Maybe we'll watch me the other night. I thought it was very good, and I look forward to our next meeting. Hey, Joanne, from Senator Morrison's office. Anybody? No questions? I knew it was going to be a short meeting. All right, how about who? Oh, hell, yeah.
Regarding these two people over here, they know
What
where
people?
the
Stop pointing your finger. Use your thumb.
they know where the gang members live. I think the police department has a record. Right? You arrest these people, they're renters most likely.
All right, hold on.
And probably repeat offenders.
Yeah.
They get firearms taken away from them, the legal possession of firearms, perhaps even use. Well, why don't you just call the landlord as the alderman, let them know what the hell's going on in their rental property and tell them they have two options. Either ask them to move out immediately or start eviction proceedings. Why do we tolerate this kind of crap in this town? It goes on and on, and our new state's attorney, out of 150 assistants in there, 93 have quit.
Wow.
Yeah, 93 have quit because
I don't know if you guys can hear former Alderman Beasley. I'm gonna turn it. You can see him.
They give them a little slap in the wrist and then they're back out on the street, correct? Right. Why do we tolerate this?
All right, so wait, don't say anything. Let me kind of, for you folks who couldn't hear that, Alderman or former Alderman Beasley is with us in the room, and he was questioning, he's asking the neighborhood policing officers, Sergeant Villalobos and Officer Harris, basically, if I can recap, why don't the police officers or the police department, when they know where the criminal actors, gangbangers or whomever, where they live, why don't they entice the landlord to kick them out?
No, actually, the alderman need to call the mayor.
Okay, alderman.
I don't care who.
Somebody needs to
But I
tell
don't
the
think it's their
landlord.
responsibility. They have enough work to do. And I think it's the elected officials, the city administration. We need to get tough on this crime, and these landlords need to be notified. This violent event went on. I had a person, a family evicted out of a house on Buttrick and Lorraine back in 2014 or so. Drive-by shooting. I called the landlord myself, told him what went on and told him, I'm out of there.
How
It
did
was
you,
gone in a week.
how did you know that it happened?
I had a police radio and I listened to every radio call every day.
Hey, write that down. I want a police radio.
Back in your. Please, another.
No, it's an alternate. You can request.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I had one. I
Well, Harold, you know, yeah.
We put up
So,
with these criminals, psychopaths, too much, and our state's attorney supports it. Our state governor, our super legislature, Democrat majority in the legislature support all this criminal activity.
Right.
Safety Act. Enough is enough. You know what? I don't give a crap what political party you belong to, but I think we all want to live in safe neighborhoods. We want our children to be safe. Why do we have to put up with violent felons, repeat offenders in our neighborhoods?
I agree.
And I know you try to do some things for it, but the mayor stymies you. This has got to stop.
It does. I totally.
And it should be a public issue. The city ought to put on the website, like CWD website used to. If somebody got arrested, they would put their name, what they got arrested for, and they put their whole criminal history on it. And you look at that, it's like, this guy was just, how is this guy not even in prison now?
Right. I agree.
Yeah.
I mean,
Spot
10,
on,
12,
man.
15, 20 offenses.
Spot on.
Why do we tolerate this? You know what? If you vote the wrong way, you get what you deserve. But you know what? We need to start smartening up and put pressure on our elected officials to start getting these things done, because I'm tired of putting up with criminals. And loud mufflers, they're not hard to,
Well, I tell you, Harold, you and I are of like mind in many regards, and you know how I feel about public safety. If you don't have public safety, you don't have anything else, right? That's number one top priority, pinnacle of my priorities. And unfortunately, I think that we don't get the attention, public safety doesn't get the attention that it needs, because many of our elected officials are not aware, they're not connected, they have no frame of reference to the things that impact us and how we live, the things that really concern them. And it's not just crime. You know, I've been complaining about the criminal activity in the 6th Ward for 20 years. It used to be, you can see it, an ebb and flow, south to north, summertime, wintertime. And now it's not just in the 6th Ward, it's all over the 6th Ward, it's all over the city. The speeding cars, the loud mufflers, the fireworks, the gunshots. When Mike Donnerworth lives over here on East Bonnybrook, and there was guys shot right there around North Bonnybrook, right? When did that happen? When right over there on Alexander Court, where the Bogdalas used to live. The house at the corner was shot up twice in 1 week, on a Tuesday and a Thursday night. Right there at the corner of 1400 block of Hickory. There's 2 houses across the street from each other. They're not necessarily connected. I don't think they know each other, but both houses were shot up more than once. So when do we start having those kinds of activities in our neighborhoods? It used to be just like over there.
Let me add this. I think the city not only needs to monitor the state's attorney's activities, but every one of those plea agreements that they give, negotiated plea, and the serious charges are, from what I assume, are often tossed so they get some little misdemeanor offense.
Right.
They're back in the street, but our good judges, they have to okay every one of those.
That's right.
But who knows what a judge's record when they're up for election?
Yeah.
I mean, these are things that our mayor and our city administration, they ought to be tracking these things and reporting to the public about it, because that's the only way the public knows. Voter apathy, people don't even want to vote anymore because it's just the same old thing. Nothing ever changes.
You're absolutely right. There's no new problem. I say all the time.
They're throwing some of these doofuses out.
There are no new problems, right? You can't name one new problem that we have. Well, I can think of one, but we don't solve problems. And we don't prioritize. We don't look at it. Hell, you were on the council long before I was, and I can tell you, we never talk about public safety. When do we talk about public safety? We So that's one of my priorities, and that's one of the things that I'm hoping to change in the future. You know, I believe like you do in sharing information with what the public. I think the public is entitled, deserves, and is entitled to be aware of what's happening. I think by
Police radio. The police
man,
department.
I can't even get the ride along anymore. We canceled the ride along program. We canceled canceled the graffiti program, the ride along program, and the significant incident report. You know, feel like I'm being handcuffed. I can't
I
do
hear
it.
something in the fourth quarter, and to cover these guys back, I go over and watch myself to make sure nobody lies about what they did or
Right.
didn't do to people, because there's a lot of that crap, and then there's a lawsuit against the city, and these people need to have the shit kicked out of them. Cause this is,
Well, that's
there's no penalties anymore.
right. Well, that's one thing I do encourage people to do is if you see police activity, do not interact. Don't go into the scene. You can stand by and observe and report, post it on Facebook, say, hey, there's some cops going on. Somebody got a car pulled over at the corner of Buttrick and Washington. I want to let us know, but by no means should you intervene or interject yourself into any police activity.
I was a witness on behalf of the police officers.
I understand. Yeah, you can be bad, but you can be a witness from over here. You don't need to be a witness right there. You don't. You're
all away from it.
Absolutely. I do it all the time. I see the guys. I do it all the time. You know, the guys will tell you. You know, I see police action, and I pull up and I just stand there. Or sometimes I'll stand there and lean on my car. Sometimes I just sit there. Eventually, one of them will look over there and they'll see me. And if they have time, at some point, somebody will come over and say, "Hey, Alderman, yeah, what's going on, man?" And they'll tell me. They give me a little bit. They can't tell me everything. I don't expect them to, and I never ever try to interject myself into any of that activity. Right? I'm just looking, you know, because I'm nosy.
That's all I was
doing. Yeah. All right. Okay. So, folks, we are 7:15 and haven't heard anything from anybody out there on Zoom. So I'm sure Bev and David Patterson, you're out there. Deborah, Ms. Maddox, anybody. Hey, Miss Reverend Pope, how are you doing? And Ted Sullivan, I know you have something. Okay, Ron Carlson. What's happening with the OJM club? It looks dangerous. It is dangerous, Ron. Last I got 2 weeks ago is that you're definitely in court trying to take possession of the building and get a demolition order. The building has had numerous citations. They've gone to hearings and been given fines. They're basically ignoring the fines, the service on the building. It's coming down, but it is a process. It's private property. We can't just confiscate property, and I wouldn't want to. I don't think that's appropriate. But anyway, for the JM Club up here at 708 Greenwood, right down the street, it's in process. It's coming down. It's going to come down. Okay. Anything else? Ron? Ted? Can you hear me? All right. Anybody on Zoom?
Thank
guys
you,
hear me now?
Alderman Turner. Thank you so much for this meeting. I don't have anything at this time, but I
Okay.
thank you for the information that I have heard.
All right. Thank you so much, ma'am. And I'll come down. I want to talk with you and Mike here soon about some other initiatives here in the neighborhood. Melody, is that Melody Maddox or is that Mom? No? I know sometimes you know.
It's Elizabeth. I don't know how to change her name from my profile.
Hello,
She
Elizabeth.
did it and I can't fix it.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, wait a minute. Hold on. You know what? I just realized I've got my hearing aids on. So now, all right.
This is her mom. This is Elizabeth. I just don't know how to change her name from mine.
Okay. Yeah, you're on the speaker on the phone and it's kind of low, but Anyway, anything going on over there? I did have a conversation over by you on Franklin Street about the buses and folks picking up and dropping off kids. They're blocking driveways over there.
Yeah, they
Particularly
parked
in
in
that,
my actual driveway. I actually had to call the police. I was late for work 30 minutes one time, and they called the transportation district. The only solution we came up with is they try to tell the parents not to do it. And I had my kids are getting picked up earlier now so that I can get out before school starts, but they're still blocking driveways.
Yeah. You know, I apologize. I'm really having a hard time hearing you because they're on the speakerphone. But I heard you. I don't know if everyone else did. But it sounds like you're saying that you have had issues with them picking up and blocking your driveway, and you've been late
Yes,
getting
they
your
actually,
kids out the door and
yeah, they
yourself
actually
getting out to
go in
work.
my driveway. So it's been an ongoing issue. It's getting a little better, but I've had them pull into the driveway and get out and leave.
Okay. All right. If you can shoot me a text or email or something and give me some times, and we'll have either parking enforcement or we'll ask patrol division to come over there and do some targeted enforcement, write some tickets.
Okay.
And that'll get their attention, okay?
Mhm.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Hey, Beverly. What do you got? Anything? No? David Patterson? And whoever's calling from 847-727-5158. Whoever that might be. If you have anything, now's the time. All right, so Ted Sullivan is asking me if I look into getting trail cams to set up and look for these guys that are going around flipping handles on cars. Short answer, Ted, yes, I have. And we'll talk more about that, but not here on this forum, okay? Joanne Sabanjan, anything, ma'am? Any ideas, comments? All right. We're gonna run out of stuff to talk about if you guys don't ask any questions. Lori?
Handles on cars?
They're going around flipping handles, and then if the car's open, they rifle through them and take change and valuables. Yeah, so. Got another one from the 312 area. All right. I'm gonna call this a meeting. Nobody's talking. No more questions. I want to thank everyone for joining. I really appreciate you. 847-445-3788. That's my phone number. Can't help if I don't know. Call me anytime you have questions or problems. Obviously, again, if it's police related, call cops first, get them involved, and then call me, let me know. And if you call me and I don't answer, leave a message. But you know, if I do answer, I'm gonna come see you anyway. So, all right, we'll call it a wrap. Thanks again, folks, everyone, and stay warm. Also, before we go, please be careful when you're driving, and please, if you know of an elderly neighbor or shut-in or anything, someone who might need help, just check on, give them a call, knock on the door. If you're doing your snow, maybe you could do at least some of their snow too. All right. Thanks a lot. That's all. We have a good night. If I don't talk to you soon, I'll see you in the neighborhood. Okay. Keith Turner,
Thank
I'm
you.
out.
Good night.
Bye. All right. Good night. All right. That's it. That's a wrap.
So I have a question.
Oh, now you got a question. Good night, Elizabeth.
The Lake County State's Attorney has a group of people working for them called the Gun Violence Disruptors.
Beverly, good night.
You heard of them, right?
Who that?
So at another politician's town hall meeting,